Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast here for Tuesday. That's right, we just skip right over that damn Monday. Nice thing to do.
Fuck that Monday.
That's right.
We're not noticing you Monday.
That's right. You're not here for us. We are moving on. 4-day work week.
We should say that to every Monday, though. Fuck that Monday.
Yeah. Nice, huh? One of the big things going down over the Memorial Day weekend is Top Gun. And man, oh man, the reviews have been great on that. It is the top grossing Memorial Day opening weekend ever for a movie.
They did it right, too. Releasing it on Memorial Day weekend.
It was
Yeah.
smart. Yeah,
Way
it
smart.
was. Well, we were talking, even on Friday of what is the best war movies basically that you can go and watch. And, I mean, this kind of fits in there, if you're talking about going and paying your respects and, keeping people in mind that have given up their lives for what we all have as freedoms here in America. It's a great thing to do.
I was thinking a lot about you over the weekend, Kev.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because I did go to the Top Gun, but it didn't work out. I bought tickets and wasn't able to go because I had a family emergency. But I was thinking, if Kevin could just say, fuck it, let me go to the concession stand and go hog wild and eat a fuck ton of snacks, what do you go with? What would you really love to just get so down with?
Well, I tell you, it's really changed the snack bars since I've gone. I really like pretzels with cheese. That's that one thing
The
I would
dippy
do.
cheese.
The soft pretzel?
yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's that one thing that's got my attention.
That's a home run.
Pizza and all that stuff looks like it's okay. I don't know how I would go there.
Movie theater pizza is a little sus, depending on the theater.
Probably one of the big things I would do I would do the popcorn, dumping the M&Ms in.
Now, Fat Kevin, if I may bend your ear, do you like it real butter-like, wet,
Yeah.
to the point where it is?
I don't like it dry.
Oh yeah, I like a lot of butter.
We
Yeah.
know you do, baby. We know.
Yeah.
No one doubts your love of butter. We saw you on the grilled cheeses the other day.
You got to be careful though. They have a lot of seasonings you can do at the theaters now, and you think it's going to be all good. You can go real heavy-handed on it and go, oh fuck, I just ruined my $9 popcorn.
It can be too salty.
Big time.
You can really go too big with it.
Yeah.
I think I did that with the cheese powder, and it's not as good and cheesy as you would think.
Well, the
it
worst
is.
thing you do, have you ever ruined a whole tub of popcorn like I have, where I've put either too much salt or something in there, but you're so bummed because you really want the popcorn that you just power through it.
Yes.
And you can feel just your whole mouth puckering as the salt is eating all the moisture out of it.
There's nothing sadder when you are so hungry and you power through a shitty ass snack, and you keep on doing it. With every bite, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because you're hungry.
I don't know that a snack bar at a movie theater necessarily has everything that I want, though. I might probably try to sneak in my own,
I
because
hear ya.
if I'm going to go for snacks, there's, Moose Munch and that kind of stuff they don't offer there. That would just be great. A nice chocolatey, gooey type thing would be what I'd like to plow down.
I'm a combos fucker. I'm swearing a lot today.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm a lot. I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs. I'll tailor them back. But yeah, combos. I never see them at the theater. Do you?
Never.
That's a good movie snack.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel like they miss out on a lot. I don't know who's designing the menus on that. I know a lot of places have tried to kick it up a notch, and you go into those fancy theaters now, and they will give you a sirloin steak and charge you $200 for it.
But do you want to feel all steak bloated halfway through a movie?
I don't. Honestly, they're just. And the other problem I have too, I don't want to eat that kind of food in the dark.
Steak in the dark.
Well, it's like, okay, here's your chicken. Eat it in the dark. Don't eat chicken in the dark because you want to make sure it's cooked.
As you're wearing that brand new white T-shirt.
Yeah. So,
Now you're trying to cut chicken like with a knife.
and I can't see, and you got to wait for a moment where it gets light on screen to take a bite, and it's just no.
Anna in the chat room says combos get so dry, but Anna, that's why you get the gargantuan fucking cherry Coke or a Pepsi they got, and get your mouth wet.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounded terrible.
I know you don't love these, but I love Raisinets and Twizzlers. Those are my favorite movie candy.
Raisinets. Hey, when's your 90th birthday?
Do you keep your teeth in, or you take them out for those?
Raisinets.
I love Raisinets.
What are the hard mints all taken up?
Well, I just shot on a good butterscotch for this whole movie.
Yeah, you'll get somebody defending your Raisinets.
Oh, I just love them.
The thing about Raisinets, and again with Rolos, and I love Rolos, they're tough to get through, man. You're eating Raisinets, your mouth is tired after a whole box of them.
It's a lot of work.
Same thing with those Rolos. Rolos taste delicious.
That's why I would do, what are the ones that are kind of their caramely?
Milk duds.
Milk
Same
duds.
thing.
I'm like, my mouth's exhausted. I'm like, I didn't come here for a workout.
Those are work.
Milk duds do taste good, but my gosh, you're right.
I don't do it because of that. Yeah, it hurts my jaw. Well, another rave review. Rianne said, Jaybird, stop what you're doing and convince the rest of your crew to go to the matinee today to see Top Gun Maverick. It is the best sequel I can recall. So true to the original, and Goose, that Jaybird would love it. Full of pretty people for Virginia, lots of action for Kev. That's the Okeechobee Princess. And there you go.
I love it. I'm
Wow.
definitely going to see it.
Yeah, she said, my 25-year-old daughter in an apartment has a picture of Tom Cruise up there from the original Top Gun.
It's good stuff.
I wonder if they'll give you your money back from the one you didn't go to.
I don't think they will.
Damn. Well, you're supporting Tom because he needs it.
It's all good. Whatever.
What was interesting the other day, we were talking to Randy, who is on right after us, our program director, and she was saying, yeah, we got these two new interns, and I was talking to them about Top Gun Maverick, and they're like, so who is this Tom Cruise? What's he been in? They had no idea.
They don't know who Tom Cruise is.
No.
None of them?
No, they didn't know. They didn't know really anything about it. They didn't know any of his movies. She's like, well, can you name them? They're like, they had no idea.
Wow.
It's like, whoa. I mean, you know, you look at the original Top Gun 36 years ago.
I mean, that's old as shit, man.
That is a long time to wait between movies. I don't know if is there ever been a larger gap between a movie and its sequel than that. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'd be curious. So, who knows?
I mean, Star Wars, no? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Getting a lot of recommendations for Suits in the movies. I'll just form a pile here because there's just really too many to name.
Some people send in some really fucking weird choices for Suits.
Yeah, some of them are kind of random, but, you know, they're all good ideas. So we'll take them all. I'll get a Suits email pile here that I can pile up for you.
I like Freaking His Mind. He watched Seven over the
He
the
loved
weekend.
it.
That is a good movie. It's been a minute since I've seen Seven.
Okay, yeah. I haven't watched it since it was in the theater when it originally came out. Brad Pitt. Somebody was talking about, I saw a tweet over the weekend, and I guess Brad Pitt might be in a relatively new movie, and they said, yeah, I was watching it with my daughter, and she's like, who's that gorgeous dude? Like, didn't even know who Brad Pitt was. She's like, man, 30 years later, and he's still got it.
How do people not know who the fuck Brad Pitt is? I mean, he's still...
I know.
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. It's not like we're talking about... You know, Gary Coleman from Different Strokes here.
Yeah, if you got a teenager, though, and you think about, okay...
Tom Cruise, though?
Yeah. I mean, what is that? I mean, aside from Top Gun Maverick, where now he's getting a lot of love and praise at the box office, and you're seeing his face everywhere, and he's doing the interviews, what is that, if you're not into the Mission Impossible stuff?
But when I was a kid, I knew
Is
who
Tom
old fuckers
Cruise
were.
on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, they have a very isolated world. Keep in mind, too, that when we grew up, we were funneled into a smaller prism of what we could watch. You had 3 or 4 TV networks. You know, you didn't have a gazillion different places where you got your entertainment. You didn't have all these social media platforms. And so you would be exposed to more mass appeal stuff. Now there's so much niche stuff out there that if you don't open your world or ever plug into mass appeal media, that you miss all this stuff.
If I went to a college campus and asked randomly 10 college students, hey, tell me who Tom Cruise is, how many people do not know who he is?
I think college might, all the comments I've heard are teens. So
okay.
College students might, but if you're talking, my son
I'll hit the high
Cannon-
schools up instead.
Yeah.
That won't be creepy.
Hey, kid, I got a question for you.
Maybe not this week.
I'd like to talk about Top Gun.
Do you find this old man hot? No, not this old man, that old man.
Ugh. You're creeping us out, dude.
Yeah.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Yeah, so if you're talking about that age, I don't know. And I'm looking down at Tom Cruise movies where they would know him. You've got Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher and The Mummy, which tanked, which didn't do well. You got Rock of Ages to go back to where he did anything. That was 2012. That's 10 years ago. So if you're talking about a 16-year-old, they were 6 when that movie came out. His big mass appeal, last one, 2008, he had a bit role in Tropic Thunder. That's 2008. So
And that was after he got all crazy on the couch. That was him rehabilitating his image.
His last movie where you'd say it was a Tom Cruise, he was riding, it was all him. I would say probably, you could argue War of the Worlds, but that was, I think lukewarm. But Collateral was the movie in 2004.
War of the Worlds did amazing in the box office. It's a shitty-ass movie, but it did very well.
You're talking 2004, 2005. Really the last time that he was cranking out that main box office movie. And even before that, you got to go back into the 90s. Probably even before that, his last big hit was Jerry Maguire in 96.
Dang, Kevin's making Tom Cruise sound like he sucks.
He is ancient.
He's, he compared to where he was cranking out, where he went. I mean, my gosh, you look at what he had going on, where he had Risky Business, All the Right Moves, Top Gun, The Color of Money, Cocktail, Young Guns, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, Days of Thunder, A Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with the Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire. That was boom, 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 boom. Every year in the 90s, Tom Cruise had a massive movie out. He was everywhere. You couldn't get away from him.
I love that Collateral. That's an underrated movie. I'm not sure if you guys seen that.
No,
you would like that.
Solid.
That's a
It's
good
great
movie.
It's very solid. But keep in mind, we grew up in that era where you're used to a massive blockbuster movie every single year throughout the 90s. So if you're not a kid that knows the 90s or you weren't really in that era, you've only got the 2004, 2005 where he had a couple hits there. Other than that, you're talking a good 18-year break of Tom Cruise really owning life.
It's weird. I don't get excited about movies anymore, but I do get excited about shows. Isn't that crazy how it flipped? And all these big actors now want to do TV series instead of movies.
Yeah, that has kind of changed. Absolutely.
Well, think about, I hate always bringing up Breaking Bad, but I just always bring that one up because every one of those episodes seemed like a movie to me. Mm-hmm. Each episode did.
Well, I think there are a couple things that happened. It was really crazy because I remember when reality TV took off, we were like, oh, is the scripted show dead? And then bam, look at it now. It's completely, I think, flipped around. You still have your reality TV, but it's not what it was.
Scripted is hot.
Yeah, scripted is very hot. And I think they just got bigger budgets and the platforms made it easier where they realized, hey, we can make money for 10 or 20 years on this. I think when you start looking at syndication shows, what your Seinfeld and what your Friends was doing, saying, look at the Friends cast. They're living in massive mansions in Hollywood, and some of them didn't really have anything other than the TV show to hang their hat on.
You're right.
And it's working for them. I mean, look at Jerry Seinfeld. What was his big projects after Seinfeld?
Nothing.
The B movie?
Got paid, though.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So it all kind of worked out.
COVID didn't help either.
What's that?
COVID didn't help the movie industry.
No, definitely not. I think it's
Speaking of
rebounding.
COVID, did you go? No, I'm just kidding.
I got an email here. We're talking about the old people. He wanted to give a raving review for the Paul McCartney shows. He did one at Hard Rock Live, and they're getting some big acts. I know they'd had the Rolling Stones. They got Paul McCartney that come in. They did Sting not long ago. He saw him in Orlando on Saturday, said he was amazing. Can't believe this guy is almost 80, turning 80 on June 17th, and he went for like 2.5 hours playing all the hits.
I just saw the coolest documentary on YouTube about McCartney and Lennon, and right after they got out of the Beatles, and how I didn't grow up in that time, so I didn't know what journalists were saying and writers were saying, but they were saying in the beginning, right when the Beatles broke up, that Paul was shitting the bed, and John was coming out with the good stuff, and Paul McCartney was kind of trying to find himself, and it took about 3 or 4 solo albums with Wings for him to really start cranking out. Not that he wasn't making hits, but he wasn't making big albums. He'd have
it wasn't that epic.
He'd have a massive hit, and then the other 9 songs would just be kind of...
John Lennon's doing Imagine, and Paul McCartney's not in his ballpark.
Now, this is according to, critics, and you could, critics can shit in their hands for all I care.
But it's a whole documentary.
Yeah, it's very cool on YouTube. I'll put up the link so nobody gives a fuck and watches it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Not as glowing of a review for us. John sent an email, and he said, Kev, been a listener for years, but as of late, your show has become overly boring and predictable. You're constantly promoting being drunk or high, and it's not helpful for a messed up society, and all those dumb skits just force me to fast forward. These are not funny. John says, little kid or drunk adult, producer Denny's knows when you're high, Denny's joke jury, Reddit's made-up stories, no-name movie game, and Hank Panks. That is what he doesn't like.
Well, you know what, guys? I think we should change the whole fucking show because he doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, thank you for your feedback, John. We always do. Every now and then there are some bits where we're like, okay, it's time to rest this one. And we do that whenever we feel like the majority of the audience is not feeling something, or we're not feeling it. We feel like, hey, we're just kind of going through the motions on this. We don't want to do that in our bits. So we try to do ones that we like first, and we want to do ones that we like and that the audience likes. So if a lot of people send in notes on those, then let us know, and we'll move on. But
sounds like he doesn't like games.
Yeah, and there are times, too, where, hey, you can outgrow a show. It just, you may have matured past the point of where we are, and, if you don't see eye to eye, then, we got to go with what the majority of our audience likes. So if they tell us, and we hear enough people saying, broom all those bits, then, thank you very much for the feedback, and we'll work on changing it. But if a lot of people are like, I don't know, I like all those, I think John's the one who's wrong, we're going to go with what the majority of people like. And then just keep fast forwarding, or you'll have to go somewhere else, unfortunately.
But that's why it's good to always, let your voice be heard so that we know what you like.
Sure, yeah. So we do like the feedback.
But all that stuff, when it comes to any time you're trying to entertain people, you're never, for every email you get with a John, you're going to get an email that says, what the fuck you talking about? I love those bits. You drive yourself crazy. As soon as you try to do anything entertaining, you're just going to get people who don't fucking like it.
Well, that's why I throw it out there, because if other people are like, I feel that too, and whatever, I'll listen to it, and we'll, survey the audience and try to find out where, that's why we love our chat room, because we throw something to them. Those are the diehards, and they're there, and we can throw up a poll and be like, hey, should we get rid of this bit? And throw it up there and see what the feedback is. And if people are like 90% are like, yeah, get rid of that.
Well, it's a weird kind of we live in a weird time right now. And it's a weird time for us as a show because podcasting is more conversational. You're talking, there's topics going on. Morning shows, there are a lot of bits and features and stuff like that. And sometimes, if you're used to a podcast and constantly just that conversational time, it is different. It's kind of my philosophy. I think it's not the best move to listen to content and throw music in there. For me, okay, we're going to let you hear the part 2 in, we have commercials and a song in 17 minutes. It's just, it doesn't lend to me, I just don't see it's not the best way of getting content.
Well, even though it's all audio, you got to keep in mind that it is 2 different platforms, and the styles are different. Our radio show is different than just doing a regular podcast. And so, there's going to be some differences in the tone and how we approach one versus how we approach the other.
Well, this what we're doing right now is very podcasty.
Yeah, exactly. This is not something we do on the other because of the way the rating system's set on radio. You got to move a little bit faster, and you got to be a lot more edited than if you're doing a podcast typically. But there are different styles of podcasts as well. And, the other thing that I would tell John is, look, we create more content than really anybody else out there that I know. And I'm not comparing us, but I'm saying if you're looking at a podcaster, some podcasts are doing once a week. They're giving you 90 minutes of content a week. We're giving you 2 hours daily. So you get 10 hours of content from us every single week, which if you go to the podcast world, that's unheard of. Like, they just don't create that much stuff. So they can say, we can be really nitpicky on what we give you. We are forced with what we do to come up with a lot more content. And a lot of times we don't have a bigger team than they do.
No, we have a very small team. That's not an excuse. That's the reality. And we pride ourselves on giving you fresh content, whether you like it or not, whether it's good or not.
Yeah.
You're not going to find, even with morning shows, good luck trying to find people who have. We make a lot of new content daily.
Yeah, we do. And I would say, yeah, you're welcome to compare the creativity between us and pretty much any radio show out there. And if you're finding stuff that they're doing that's so imaginative above what we're doing, then please let me know.
No, but we hear you, John. We'll go fuck ourselves.
But yeah, you can let us know. I'm sure he's fast forwarding this right now.
Fuck you, Jay Bird. Fuck you.
You used to be fun.
No, I like Virginia. Yeah, go eat fucking popcorn and almost die.
Well, and
sarcophagus. Come on.
There are some people. I will tell them that there are some people that they still look at the whole weed thing. And look, I'm not any kind of heavy pot smoker or whatever. It's not really my thing. But I can't deny that. There's a lot of people that really are for it and in it. And you just look at the surveys and the numbers, and I realize that. Hey, I read that today, 68% of Americans are like, let's make this shit legal. And I would be in there too. But with the amount of people that do it, it's a majority of Americans now that dabble in some part of cannabis, and the numbers are only growing. That if you find yourself thinking that weed is the devil and don't go into it, and the next thing you know, you're going to go from weed to all of a sudden you're doing heroin 2 weeks later, there's a lot of people that would beg to differ with you. So I realize I'm in the minority typically in my thoughts.
It is something I have heard before. It's not something that I hear all the time, but since I've been on the show with the Drunk Girl Trivia, we talk a lot about alcohol, and we have, in a sense, glorified alcohol at times. I can't deny that. To your point, some people don't jive with that. They just don't. And I'm thinking 15-20% people probably don't like pot drinking bits, and it's not their style or their flavor, and I can tell because I've heard the way people talk about them to me before, and I've heard a repeat comment of the same type of, you guys glorify drinking too much. I had to turn it off.
I just believe in like the medicinal qualities and properties in the marijuana. All of my neighbors are retired, and they all smoke and say it helps them medically. I mean, you can't argue with someone who is 75 years old that gets healing properties out of weed. Like, why would you not want them to have that?
The way I look at it, I would rather have the audience know who we are, what we really are as people. Yeah. And then you judge for yourself. If we talk too much about weed and alcohol and that's just not your cup of soda, I can go to bed at night going, all right, they just don't like that kind of flavor. Then to hide and act like we're something we're not either.
That's it. We've got to do a show that is true to what we are and what our sensibilities are, and we hope that you like that. But look, I get it. And hey, as people get older too, they may be like, drinking's not as such a part of my life anymore. And
I get it.
Weed and all that. And
I hear you.
Hey, look, people come up with different styles at every different age. You may be like, that's just not where I am now. And if that's it, you got to go somewhere else. I get it, man. But, we got to do what we are and be who we are. And so our show's changed a good bit. I don't think, I'm not as reckless as I used to be, and I don't think the show is.
We used to do a lot of street stuff I know we couldn't do now.
Sure. Yeah. So,
I know we couldn't do it.
Yeah. But anyway, do appreciate the feedback, Gian.
I don't speak for Kevin.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just being a dick.
Got this email from Rebecca. She said, I just saw this on a local Jupiter site on Facebook from Florida. I thought you would find the humor in this. It's Southeastern Island Way in Jupiter. Somebody changed one of those rolling signs, and it just says, I eat ass.
Okay, so I know the kids that did that.
Do you really?
That's the road to my house.
You know that?
That's Island
that's
Way.
funny.
That is the road to my house. And I saw this 2 days ago because the kids...
That's funny.
It's apparently very easy to change the message on those big, huge street signs that give you, like, there's road construction going on that street, and so it's just warning people, hey, construction's going to be here through June 3rd.
Right.
But you can go in there's a keyboard, and you can change it very easily. And the one kid that did it, he showed it to his dad, and his dad's like, "I've never been more proud of you, son."
Yeah, there's some way there's some code or something you get in there and do that with.
So easy.
And it's a good 3-word statement to put out there.
It really is.
I eat ass. Just simple, just basic. It's all good. All right, let me see. Debbie sent an email. She said, I heard you guys talking about whether any of your listeners have witnessed a murder or not, and then not saying anything about it. Well, my grandfather was on his deathbed, and he confessed that when he was in the Army, he witnessed one of his Army brothers murder a hooker.
What?
They were in a different country at the time, and it was in the 1960s, so it was never solved or traced back to the guy. My grandfather said it haunted him every single day of his life, especially since he helped dump the body in a lake.
What?
Thought you might find this story interesting and change how we all look at Grandpa.
We covered this on the Weird and Whatever. I read that on that, and it was the same. What?
Grandpa, what the hell?
Everybody was shocked at Grandpa and how nobody could ever look at Grandpa the same again.
Damn.
Why were you in the room when he was with the hooker? Was he banging her and you were watching?
Maybe he was banging her and the guy walked in the room, or maybe they were done and arguing about money and he walked in and he saw her shank her. Yeah. Who knows, Virginia?
Did he stab her? Did he choke her?
I've thought about this a lot because we talked about this on Thursday.
Grandpa died, so we can't get all the answers.
I know, that's what
sucks. Thanks for leaving us hanging with the cliffhanger, Grandpa.
It's a really good cliffhanger, Gramps. Really good.
Yeah, I'd have a real hard time just sitting there and watching my buddy off a hooker. That'd be really tough.
I would have to intervene.
Well, what if it was a situation like this? You walk in, he had just stabbed her and cut her or whatever, and she's dead. And now he's like, Kevin, you got to help me, bro. Come on, brothers, we're brothers.
Yeah, you know where I sit on that stuff.
Oh, yeah, you can't not help with the body.
Kevin's not putting the body in the lake.
No, you're on your own, yeah.
Not with murder.
No.
Dude.
I'm not doing it. I think the only thing where I wouldn't be completely rattled is if, let's say, for instance, she just wigs out. Maybe she's on something and she's attacking him and he's like back and he's trying to, fight, and kind of like how they do in the movies where somebody falls and they hit their head and then they're dead. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened?
She's dead. There's a hooker involved. Yeah. Now there's drugs on the table. Your buddy walks in. What do we do? Now, what do you do, Virginia?
That'd be the only way I kind of find myself in that type of situation.
But I need to know from Grandpa, did this guy enjoy killing the hooker?
What if I come to you, I knock on your door, it's 2:00 in the morning, Virginia. This hooker went crazy. I accidentally killed her. Can you help me move the body? I swear she tried to shove me with an hatchet.
What?
What?
Try to kill me. Do you help me with the body?
I mean, I would strongly encourage you to go to the authorities. There's so many cameras everywhere now, everywhere. There's nothing you can do. You can't make any moves without them having you on video.
And now the whole time you're thinking, it's great. Now you're at my door. This is going to be on camera.
Yeah, literally. You still have blood on you. Don't come to my house.
Yeah, I can't help you with the body either.
I'm sorry.
That's the one time you got to rat somebody out.
You're going to get us both in trouble.
Imagine
Just go to the cops, tell them what happened, tell them that the hooker was attacking you.
Kevin Ralston comes to you, same situation. You're not going to believe I killed somebody. Help me with the body. Do we have to help Kevin because he's our superior?
I don't know.
Is that part of the contract?
And he's got a real crazy look in his eyes. So you go, oh my gosh.
So just like how his eyes look now?
He's holding a weapon. And so you're thinking, all right, I think I have to help him move the body. But then when I leave,
he's going to kill you next.
You have to act like you're part of the. Oh man, I don't want to think about evil Kevin.
Evil Kevin would take us all down.
Evil Kevin scares me. I don't like it.
You guys want me to grow that mullet back. You know what you're asking for. I'd be off in hookers all over the place. Well, somebody had sent me this talking about the evil ladies, and I don't know if this is going to work, and I really want the story because I was telling you about the podcast I was listening to last week. It was a true crime podcast about South Florida, and they started off with Griselda Blanco was the first one. The Colombian drug lord that was running Miami from like the mid-'70s on. Just a really violent lady.
Crazy.
Well, it's a fascinating story because the podcast went all the way back to her childhood. And, there was a lot of turmoil in Colombia when she was growing up. Almost sounded like maybe there's a civil war or something like that. So as a kid, she used to see dead bodies all over the place. So she kind of grew up desensitized to all that stuff. And they said that she would order a hit just as easily as ordering a sandwich. So it was just nothing for her. And she would kill anybody. She would kill her people that challenged her. She'd kill people she owed money to. She'd kill the people she was married to. So that was just kind of her thing. So I'm really looking forward to this. But they got Catherine Zeta-Jones playing the role of her. And I hate sometimes stepping into those. And I get these Hollywood stars. They're like, because it's a great story, but they want to be the one that is acting out Griselda Blanco. And they snapped a photo of what Catherine Zeta-Jones looks like. Now, she is 49 years old now, so they say.
That's what she says. People that went to high school with her say she's actually over 50.
Okay. So it is a Netflix miniseries, Cocaine Godmother, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to get excited about this or not. And look, I love her, but let me see. No, wait, this is the one because I think there's two. Oh, so that's right. She did one. I guess this is the Sofia Vergara one, which
that's even more unbelievable.
That's right. Gosh, they've had Catherine Zeta-Jones, and now this one, the Netflix one, I think is Sofia Vergara. So, okay, take a look at Griselda Blanco. That is Griselda Blanco. And if you've seen the Cocaine Cowboys or Cocaine Cowboys 2, which she was on, the documentary, you realize she's not necessarily a looker.
No, she wasn't known for her
But, you've had
beauty.
That,
right. Sophia is known for her beauty.
Right. So here's what they've done. This is Sofia Vergara, and this is the side-by-side. In fact, that was a mugshot. If you're watching KVJ TV, that was from Miami. That was Miami Metro-Dade, where she was arrested. So that's what the side-by-side looks like. Tell me, if you're watching that, do you feel like you're watching the Cocaine Cowboy Godmother, or are you just like going, okay, I don't know. It's not working for me.
I know she's got to look pretty because it's a Hollywood film and you can't.
But she doesn't.
It's such a distraction.
Who was the one that did Monster?
Oh, that was
Charlize
Theron.
Theron.
Did a great job. She looked just like the murderer.
Right. So to me, you got to get there. Like the hair. Look at the hair. That's not at all what I think of when I think of Griselda Blanco.
No.
Wasn't Blanco? Wasn't she really, really into sex too?
I don't know. That part I've never heard about her.
Did I make that up? I thought that was part of the.
She later on in life, she was doing time in a California jail, and she had kind of a pen pal lover kind of dude that she still was controlling the drug trade even from inside prison in California. They had a lot of conjugal visits, and they would hit it, but that's the only thing I've heard about her and sex.
Huh.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's good. I want a Narcos type gritty documentary type series. I just don't know if we're going to get it with Sofia Vergara.
How did Griselda go out?
She went. This is I guess you can look up the story.
Right.
Okay. She died in Colombia. Oddly enough, she serves her time. She'd been in America, running around. She'd done time between here in New York, California. She was in prison afterwards. Apparently, in prison in California, she finds Jesus. And she's like, I'm turning over a whole new leaf. And she goes back to Colombia and is doing some mission work and stuff like that. And apparently it's just she's just blending in with the community, not living in, I guess she had a nice house because she still had some of the cocaine money, but she's just kind of, living her best life, being all Christian, and was there 6 years in Colombia. And she was leaving a meat market one day, midday, and she used to always have people killed by the little motorcycle rider, the hitman that would come up on a bike. Somebody comes up on a bike, I think it was 2012, something like that, and gunned her down right out front of a meat market in Colombia. That was it. But she was 6 years solid out of the game. I mean, imagine that 6 years later, you finally get the hit.
Was it like a revenge killing, or we don't know who did it?
I'm not sure, and that's where I'd like to do a deeper dive because I'd only heard that's what it was, but I didn't hear who might have ordered it or what happened.
All they heard was someone say, "We got the meats," and that was it.
Yeah, it was an Arby's hit.
Arby's got a new burger, by the way.
How is it?
I haven't had it, but people are talking about it.
Okay, really? All right. So there you go. Well, thank you for
Thank
the
goodness.
heads up. Yeah. Thank you very much for getting that in. All right, anything else you want to drop on us? Always send us those emails, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. You have a good Tuesday. Bye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.